You guys, I'm gonna give it a couple minutes or a minute at least and allow you guys to come in before I start, so it doesn't cut me off for the recording. Welcome in, you guys. Just gonna give it a minute and before I get started, make sure everything's set up right. How's everybody today? And I'm gonna turn the phone around so I won't be able to see who's in here or not, but I'm reading the comments on my screen, and I'll start in probably a minute. Hi, Deanna. Welcome back. Good to see you again. How's it going? All right, I'm gonna turn the phone around so you can see the shredding silence for new people that come in, and go ahead and get started. So I'm glad you guys are here. Welcome in. So today's live is about when life keeps taking and taking when you're trying to heal. Hi, Hava Java. Welcome in. Good to see you back. Oh wait, I forgot to do this part. Sorry. Oops. All right, good thing I have it on the. Okay, did we freeze? Here we go. All right, it's delayed on my TV. Okay, so today's live. Welcome in, everybody. This is about when life keeps taking and taking after you're trying to heal from narcissistic abuse, and maybe even during it, because some of you might still be there. So I've been a little quiet this week, and I just want to be real about why. And first and foremost, I want to say this. It's okay to not be okay. Healing is fucking brutal a lot of the time. Put 100% in the chat if you know exactly what I'm talking about. If healing has been a hell of a lot harder than you ever expected it to be. I know it has for me, so I'm putting 100% in the chat. So if I sound exhausted today, if I sound depressed, or if I'm running on fumes, we got 100% going on. 100%, yeah. You guys can relate. If I sound like I'm running on fumes, it's because I am. I'm not gonna come on here and fake being upbeat just because the camera is on, because this is where I'm at right now. And hey, Kelly, welcome back. So good to see you. Welcome back. So I'm not going to come on here and be fake and upbeat just because this camera's on, because this is real. I told you guys before, I'm healing in real time. I'm dealing with real shit in real time, and you guys are witnessing that. I'm about to get into it, Kelly. I'll let you know. Thank you for asking. But I think a part of healing is being able to say, I'm not okay right now, without believing that that means all the healing that I've done somehow disappeared. So if you guys feel like you're not okay, it doesn't mean that your healing, where you have come so far, wipes that all out. It doesn't. It's okay to not be okay. So for those of you that are new here, thank you, Havajama. Yeah, I'm so glad for this community, and I'm thankful for all of you. For those of you that are new here, because I can't see who all is in here, I'm Glennis, creator and CEO of Shredding Silence. Shredding Silence is a space for healing in real time, breaking toxic patterns, learning how to stop letting toxic and narcissistic people penetrate your life, finding your voice maybe for the first time, learning to choose yourself, and talking honestly about the parts of healing that people don't always show you. And I want to show you the real shit. So not just the polished version after I've already made it through, because we see creators online who look healed, right? They look happy, they look thriving, maybe they're in a new healthy relationship, their channel's doing great, they got lots of views, like thousands and maybe millions. Their life looks like it just all came together effortlessly. But we don't know what happens when that camera turns off. And there's, hi, Zara Katoon 2. I'm not sure what's the two mean. You have to forgive me today. I'm probably going to have extra brain fog. But we don't know what happens when that camera turns off, right? And if there's one thing I want to do differently here, it's that I don't want to pretend that I've got all my shit figured out, because I don't. This is healing in real time, like I said before. And before I get into some of this today, I want to tell you why I'm even sharing it. One of the biggest reasons I created Shredding Silence and why I keep showing up here, even when I'm fucking exhausted, is because I genuinely want connection. Real connection. Not surface level bullshit. Not people pretending they're okay when they're falling apart inside. I want this to be a place where people actually feel seen. And I also want to make something really clear before I share what I'm about to share with you guys. When I talk about what I'm going through, I am not looking for pity. I'm not on here just to complain, and there's a lesson in it all. I've started this whole channel because I wanted to turn my pain into purpose. Hey, Honey Pepper. Oh, hi, you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming. So I want this to be a place where people actually feel seen when you're falling apart inside. So when I talk about what I'm going through, I'm not looking for pity. I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for me. I'm sharing what I'm going through as I'm going through it, because this is exactly what healing looks like in real time. And I think a lot of survivors and victims out there need to see that, you know, because it's not a pretty thing where you turn a switch, you leave the narcissist, and everything's all sunshine and rainbows. It doesn't fucking work like that. That's not realistic. It's not pretty, as you guys know. Hi, Tamana. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping in here. Is that a fish? I'm not sure what that is. But anyways, so healing isn't pretty. Sometimes it's grief. Sometimes it's anger. It's loneliness. It's exhaustion. Sometimes it's realizing the people that you thought would show up for you simply fucking don't. And I don't want to come on here and pretend that because I talk about healing that I've somehow figured everything out, because I trust you, I haven't. I'm walking through this shit with you guys. I can't get rid of this picture. What the hell on my computer? Okay, there it goes. And if me being honest about what I'm going through makes even one person sitting somewhere thinking nobody understands what the fuck I'm going through feel a little less alone, then there's purpose in me sharing this. And that's what I want Shredding Silence to be. Authenticity, genuine connection, a place where you can come exactly how you are. So with that said, let me tell you a little bit about where I'm at right now. And right now, real time is fucking hard. And my mouth is going to be a little bit more trucker today because, I don't know, the adjectives, it just describes how you're feeling. It puts emphasis on how hard this is. So here's a little bit of my story, just skimming the surface. So I don't know, for those of you that know, I'm grieving my fur baby Mocha. For those of you who don't know who she is, she was my sweet fur baby. She was rescued, and she was so grateful that I chose her. I think I adopted her last year. And just a few days ago, I had to put her down because she had health problems, and she was in pain. So I sat there alone, holding her while she took her last breath, and that fucking sucks. I don't know if you guys have dealt with that. It's the hardest place to be. I sat there alone with her, and the very next day, I had to go to court. So court, if you guys have been there, you know it's nerve-wracking for anybody. But add grieving your dog on top of sitting in a cold courthouse with judges, lawyers, and people you don't really ever want to see again, was absolutely draining. Yeah, too many times it hurts so much, Deanna. Yeah, you know it's hard, losing your fur baby. They love us unconditionally. You know, they never hurt us the way people do. And Kelly, you can relate too. It's on real hard. All my hugs, Glennis. Thank you, Hub Java. So, hold on, you guys. So it's absolutely draining. And then yesterday was my birthday. It came and went, and people that I thought cared about me didn't show up. So I've had a lot of other stressful shit hitting me at the same time, and I think everything finally hit me all at once. So on top of that, my daughter's in pain every day. You know, She has some of the same struggles Hava, has to deal with. Um, while we fight doctors and insurance and appointments and tests and medication and all the shit that goes with trying to navigate healthcare when somebody's chronically ill. And that's a lot for, thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. That's a lot for one nervous system to hold. And if I'm being completely transparent, I've also been feeling really fucking lonely. And I'll be honest with you guys, I even hesitated to see any of this out loud. Deanna, you're moderator still. Can you get rid of this clown? Boo-hoo. Yeah, projecting your stuff onto somebody else. Does that make you feel better? You can leave now. So, because when you put yourself online, there's Exhibit A, your mom. When you put yourself online, not everybody watching you is rooting for you. There's a prime example. It happened, the timing is unreal. So there's people who don't like you, people who aren't healed. Thank you, Deanna, I appreciate you. People that want to come on here and make you feel worse because it makes them feel better, because they're unhealed. There are people who don't like to be called out for their behavior. There's people who probably love to see you fail. There may be people from your past watching, flying monkeys watching, maybe even people that you thought were your friends who aren't really showing up like friends. And that makes vulnerability really scary. Because part of you thinks, why would I let these people see that I'm hurting? Why would I let somebody who doesn't like me know that I'm struggling? But then I thought, I don't want fear controlling my life anymore. Yes, Honey Pepper, they're always watching. And this isn't about them, so they can fuck off. Sorry, I'm going to be blunt and unfiltered today, you guys, because I don't want fear controlling my life anymore. I don't want to shrink myself anymore because someone might judge me, talk shit about me, laugh at me, or enjoy seeing me have a hard time in life. Because life is hard no matter what. But some people, like narcissists, they like to make your struggles about them. Like they'll say, ooh, they're struggling because I'm not in their life, or they're struggling because of whatever. And Kelly says, I hate when they are nice to your face, then behind your back they're talking about you. I don't deal with those people anymore. I don't have time. Yeah, exactly, Kelly. Like, if you're my friend, you need to talk shit to my face, right? Not behind my back. So, they can fuck all the way off, Deanna says. Hava Java, be absolutely unfiltered. You are powerful in vulnerability. Thank you, Hava Java. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for your comments so much. Because people that are watching, people that's still in this shit, they need to see the real crap. So, where was I? So I don't want to shrink myself anymore. If I only show up for you guys when I'm polished and feeling good, then I'm not really showing you healing in real time. I'm not being authentic. And I've told you before, like the CEO of YouTube says the way to succeed on YouTube and actually build connection is to be authentic. So this is authentic. I have no mask on today, a little bit of makeup that I'm probably going to cry off, but I'm as authentic as it can be because I want authenticity. There's too much bullshit out there. Too many people with their masks on. I'm freaking done with it. You all know it's exhausting. So I'm not being authentic because authentic is what people... I am being authentic. I fucked up in my notes. Authentic is what people need. They crave it, especially in today's world. They crave it because there's so much fakeness all over social media, everywhere. This is uncomfortable for me to say, but this is where I'm at right now. So let's get into it. The meat of all this whole thing. Sometimes when you're going through something hard, you realize how much it means for somebody to simply check up on you. And when I say check up on you, I don't mean liking your videos or liking your post or watching what you're doing from a distance. I mean actually reaching out. How are you holding up? Are you okay? Do you need me to call you? Do you need somebody to talk to? And sometimes when you know somebody's really hurting, a quick text message just doesn't cut it. So Honey Pepper said, when I finally realized my mother's a narcissist, I reached out to my uncle for help since he's the only relative I know in America. He said he would help me, and he never did. Oh, Honey Pepper, that's like a knife in your heart when you're already hurting and you put yourself out there and you're vulnerable, and then only to, he bullshit you pretty much. I'm so sorry you went through that. That really sucks. That sucks that he did that. So we want people to reach out. Do you need me to call you? Do you need someone to talk to? And sometimes when you know someone's really hurting, a quick text message does not cut it. Sometimes somebody needs to actually stay in the conversation. Lean in, ask another question. You know, can I call you? Sit with them for a minute. Lean in and actually care. There's a sign, I think I've shown it to you before, that says, when you can't look on the bright side, I will sit with you in the dark. And this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes support isn't dragging somebody into the light. Sometimes it's being willing to sit beside them in the dark, exactly where they are, so they don't have to be there alone. It's okay, because I realize he's just like her, so I dodged a bullet. That's good. I'm glad you did, because we could have got caught up all in that another maybe narcissistic web, Honey Pepper. I'm glad you dodged it too. Thanks for sharing that. So where was I? Let's see. So be willing to sit beside them in the dark, so they don't have to sit there alone. You don't have to fix anything, you know, because a lot of us want to jump to, I don't want this person to hurt, so I want to fix it. I want to do this and this. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to have the perfect words. You don't have to give positive affirmations or fortune cookie bullshit or just think positive. Sometimes all we need is, I'm here. There's a difference between acknowledging somebody's pain and actually being there for them. And when you're in a really dark, lonely place, you can feel the difference. You feel that shift. And it sucks. Because silence hurts. And I think that's where this gets really painful. Because what happens when the people that you thought would be there aren't? What happens when everybody knows you're going through something, but somehow you still feel completely alone in it? Sometimes when you're already hurting, somebody not reaching out, especially someone you truly thought would, can feel like pouring salt into an open wound. I'd honestly love to get that from someone. I'm here for you because I'm here for everybody else. Thank you, Kelly. And that is exactly why I have formed Shredding Silence, for all of us to lift each other up so we don't have to feel alone. Because a lot of people in the world know what it's like to feel completely alone. You know, we don't have the luxury of healthy, supportive family, friends. That's who my cousin is to me. She sees through the whole family's BS. So you have a cousin that you'd be close to, Honey Pepper? That's awake and knows what's going on. They're not like blind to the whole thing, you know, accepting it as normal. That's great. We all deserve somebody like that. So when you're hurting, someone not reaching out, especially someone that you thought cared about you or that you meant more to them, can feel like pouring salt into an open wound. It can feel like acid, because you're already vulnerable. You're already trying to heal. You're already running on fumes. And then the person you thought that was supposed to be a safe place, a peaceful place, somebody you believed would actually show up for you, stays completely fucking silent. Honestly, I have no one, and as I age, it scares me. I can relate to you, Kelly. I think there's some more people out there than we realize, and I'm hoping to bring more people into this community, because there's a loneliness epidemic going around. And I'll get to that in a little bit later on down the line in the live. Kelly in a similar place, and Hava in a similar place, so we can relate to each other. We know what it's like to be in that dark hole, and nobody's coming for us. It's the most sucky place to be. So that silence magnifies everything you're already going through, because now you're not only dealing with that original pain. You know, you left the narcissist, you're trying to heal whatever childhood trauma and shit. Now you're not only dealing with that pain, now you're also dealing with the realization that maybe this person wasn't who you thought they were, that you were in their life. And that can be devastating. So you start asking, how can somebody know I'm hurting this badly and still not reach out to me? Sometimes the hardest part isn't even the silence itself. It's what the silence reveals. And look, I understand people get busy. I understand some people get uncomfortable with emotion. Let me read this real quick before I lose the comments. Honey Pepper says, yes, we spoke about it a few times, and we took turns listing all the narcs that we finally see in our family now that we are awakened. I'm so glad you guys have each other in that. And that you're the woke ones, Honey Pepper. That's awesome. So, where was I? So I understand people get busy. They get uncomfortable with emotion. I understand not everybody automatically knows what to do when someone they care about is hurting. When someone's hurting, we tend to freeze because having feelings is shamed upon. We're taught that feelings should be shameful as kids. And so that bleeds over into our adulthood, and we don't know how to deal with it. But there's a difference between somebody not knowing what you need and somebody you've actually told. So if you've told them more than once, when I am hurting, please don't assume that I need space, or whatever you tell them you need. Or you might tell someone, when I'm hurting, I need space. I'm the opposite. I don't need space because to me it feels like I've been abandoned and that they don't give a shit. So I'll say, please reach out, please check on me. Because for some of us, silence doesn't feel like space. Like I said, it feels like rejection. Silence feels like abandonment. Who feels me on that? What do you guys need when you're going through something? Do you need space, or do you need someone to reach out and say, hey, I'm checking on you, how are you? Do you need me to, call you? What do you need? Does anybody here experience silence like that, where somebody thinks they're giving you space, but it feels like rejection? Or it feels like, when the narcissist gives you the silent treatment, or they take off, or they're busy getting other supply. It's opening that same wound for me. And if somebody knows that about you because you've actually communicated it and the same pattern keeps happening anyway, it hurts differently. Because at some point, you don't want to keep explaining the same need. Kelly says absolutely. Hava Java, I think I've taught myself to completely ask no one for anything. I'm going to get into that too, Hava Java. Yes, because that's a normal thing to want to do. So at some point, you don't want to keep explaining the same need. Like having to explain something over and over is exhausting. You don't want to keep teaching somebody over and over again how to show up for you, because when somebody knows what hurts you, they know what support looks like for you, and the same pattern keeps happening anyway, eventually you have to stop focusing so much on why they're doing it. Deanna says, sometimes I need to be alone, but if I ask someone to talk to me or be with me, yeah, it feels like abandonment. Yeah, so you might need one or the other. Yeah, thanks for sharing, you guys. So you start paying attention to what the pattern is showing you, and it doesn't mean they're a horrible person. I am not saying that. It may simply mean that they are not capable of being the safe person that you thought they were. Honey Pepper says, I truly think if someone is an empath, it's automatic for them to check in and communicate whether you need space or not. To make assumptions usually makes the wrong decision. I agree with that, Honey Pepper, and that's why this is so painful for me, because when you know that they're an empath and they've been through similar things, and you start to not wrap your mind around it. You're like, how the fuck can they not know what I'm going through? Because it makes no fucking sense to me. And I'm going to get into that later too, because it's completely frustrating. So when it keeps happening, you pay attention to the pattern. So they may not be capable of being the safe person you thought they were, but at the same time, Honey Pepper says, if you're an empath, it should be automatic, right? It's not rocket science. So I think the reason it hurts so much too is because when you're already emotional when it happens. Because you're running on 2%. I know I'm running on 2%, and everything hits differently. Everything hits harder. Like it's magnified. So when you're running on 2%, is anybody here running on 2% right now? Put a 2 in the chat. I want to see how many of us are running on fumes. Because it doesn't mean that you're lazy. Kelly says, so this is something other than my therapist is the only person that knows sabotage. I have sabotaged myself for years, staying fat. And that might, Deanna says 2. Kelly says, yes, 2. That might be a self-protection, Kelly. Because I think I'm doing that too. Like eating, I used to be very careful, battery on red. I used to be very careful about what I ate, but now I don't give a fuck anymore because it's comforting to me. So I totally get you. Honey Pepper, battery on red. Hava, I'm not, but I have been. I'm glad that you're charged up, Hava Java. That's good. Good. I'm so tired, I keep losing my balance. Oh, Deanna, my heart goes out to all of you. And no, you're not alone. So it doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean you're negative. You're not antisocial. You're not difficult. You're just running on 2% battery, and life keeps trying to make withdrawals from an account that has nothing left in it. So it might be this. There's another phone call, another appointment, another bill that you maybe forgot that surprised you and your bank's already in the negative or close to it, or another problem, or another person who needs something. Deanna, I know you can relate to this one because we talked about this last week. Another thing you have to fix, fight, explain, schedule, remember, pay for, carry, or emotionally process. And eventually you get to this place where you're thinking, universe, can you just leave me alone for 5 fucking minutes? 5 minutes. That's all can I have a peaceful cup of coffee without some bullshit happening? Not because you hate everybody. I mean, although sometimes it feels like that. I don't know if you guys have ever said, because I had a video that said people suck. I went for a walk yesterday and I just zoomed in. I don't know why. My eyes just went right to the back of this pickup truck and I couldn't see it from far away. And it had a picture of a dog. I'm like, oh, there's a little doggy. And it said, dogs because people suck. So I don't know how many of you guys feel that way. Sometimes I feel that way. Everybody sucks. So, because you're depleted, because sometimes you don't want to accomplish anything. You don't want anybody to need anything from you. You just want one little piece of time where you're allowed to fucking exist, where you're allowed to breathe without something in your face all the time. Like no caregiver role, no employee role, no parent role, no fixer, no fighter, not being the strong one. Just being a human being who's tired. That's where I'm at, y'all. I'm just like, every little thing just irritates you when you're running on fumes. And grief, let's talk about grief, because grief makes silence louder. Yes, and they do, ha ha ha, I'm Kelly, about the sticker. And Honey Pepper says, generally speaking, love is lacking from the world, so you're not completely wrong. You absolutely need that space when you're grieving. Yes, Honey Pepper, and yes, Hava, we do need that space. And it's hard to grasp, get it sometimes. And yet the world has become extra cold. I mean, I always knew the world was not a friendly place, but after narcissistic abuse, when you wake up and it seems like there's narcissism in everything, pretty much everything, everywhere. The government. I mean, don't even get me started, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It's everywhere we go. Hospitals, the police department, courthouses, it's everywhere. And it's like no escape. But that's a whole other, I think, podcast I'm going to do, or a live I'm going to do. But grief makes the silence louder. Grief makes all of this louder. I was grieving my dog completely alone. And it brought me right back to grieving my son alone. Because for you guys know that my son took his life 5 years ago. And I grieved that completely alone. That's when the narcissist had left me for 3 weeks, a month, or whatever, to go off and do the stupid shit that narcissists do. Left me all to myself. And then my older daughter, she didn't like her brother, so she wasn't very supportive either. So that kind of loneliness does something to you. And then yesterday was my birthday. So here's another thing that really hit me this week. I woke up to that lately. The people suck, Kelly. Sorry, I get behind sometimes, and my mind is like ADHD and brain fog. So here's another thing that hit me this week. My birthday came, and you know what's fucking wild? CVS remembered my birthday. My mortgage company remembered my birthday. National Life, where my retirement account is, remembered my birthday. My truck insurance remembered my birthday. Now, these companies are automated systems. They obviously don't personally know me, but they managed to send me something saying, hey, happy birthday. And yet some of the actual human beings I thought I mattered to forgot. Let me catch up with these. Not being mean, but it does come back. I've heard everything comes back. Karma, how many people actually believe in that? Because I really do. That's when you know if your inner circle is real or fake. Yeah, you know what, Kelly, about that, I always say why does life have to be like this? What did I do that was so horrible to people? Because I don't go out of my way to hurt a person, and I'm more than willing to take accountability if they come to me and say, hey, what you did was kind of fucked up, you hurt me. I'm okay, call me out, because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the kind of person that hurts somebody. So I always joke and I say, who did I kill in a past life? With the karma thing. And what Honey Pepper says, that's when you know if your inner circle is real or fake. And it really hurts when you think that that circle was real and you find out different. And I just recently watched the Truman Show movie for the first time yesterday, and that kind of relates to what you said, Honey Pepper. How many of you have seen that movie? It's got Jim Carrey in it. Yeah, it kind of relates to that a lot. But anyways, so these companies and automated systems that obviously don't personally know me managed to send me something saying, hey, happy birthday. But some of the people that I thought I was more important to forgot. I was completely forgotten yesterday. And I know somebody might say, well, those companies have automated reminders. It doesn't mean anything. Exactly. That's what makes it sting more. Because I know there isn't any personal meaning behind CVS remembering my birthday. CVS does not give a fuck about Glennis. But when an automated system can acknowledge your existence on a day that means something to you, and somebody you thought genuinely cared about you doesn't, that can feel like a punch in the stomach. And I don't even think it's really about needing somebody to throw you a party or buy you a gift or something, or make some huge production out of your birthday. I'm not expecting that. That's not what it's about. Sometimes you just want to know you crossed somebody's mind. That's it. You mattered enough to me that I remembered you today. And when that doesn't happen, especially when you're already grieving, was it a good movie? Because every other Carrie movie I watched I didn't like. I believed it was good, Deanna, but we all have, our own things about movies. So it'd have to be up to you to watch it and see how you feel about it. And then Hava says, yes, it does. I fell through every crack after my son died. First years, and yes, it does do something to you that imprints in a way that's permanent. It's an inner experience that shapes life after. And I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that too, Hava Java, because I remember you sharing that about your son. It's a grief that you can't explain to someone until they've been through it. And Honey Pepper says, I don't really believe in karma. I do believe that you reap what you sow. It's kind of the same thing, karma. You reap what you sow. And if you purposely treated people bad, well, then people may treat you the same. Yet I believe that too, 100% in what you're saying. But what's hard for me is like when you're genuinely trying to be a good person, you can take accountability for stuff, but you're still being treated like shit, like you're some piece of shit. That's when it's hard to deal with. The premise of the Truman Show does interest me. I may watch it. Yeah, it's pretty much like being in a narcissistic relationship. The whole message of the movie, and being true to yourself. I really enjoyed it. It was good. It was great. So where am I? So it's the message that you mattered enough to me that I remembered you today. And when that doesn't happen, especially when you're already grieving, already exhausted, already feeling alone, it could touch something much deeper than just they forgot my birthday. It can become, do I even fucking matter to you? Do you think about me when I'm not right in front of you? Would you notice if I disappeared from your life? Was this relationship as important to you as it was to me? And those are painful questions. And I also think there can be some shame around admitting that something like a forgotten birthday hurt you, because people will say, oh, it's just another day, or you're a big girl now, you're an adult. But sometimes it's not about the birthday. It's about being remembered. It's about being seen. It's about wanting evidence that you occupy a little bit of space in somebody else's heart and mind. Kelly says, I remember most people always coming last. You can't be nice today, not in today's generation. Everyone's after something from you, something from everybody else. I wholeheartedly agree with that, Kelly. You are so spot on. Unfortunately, that is the cold, hard truth. It really is. So it's about wanting evidence that you occupy a little bit of space in somebody else's heart and mind. And I think there are a whole lot of people walking around pretending that shit doesn't hurt because they don't want to look needy or sensitive. But it does hurt. And if they say it doesn't, they're lying, especially when you already feel invisible. Deanna, they are good questions, but a dishonest person won't answer them. This is true too. That's another, thank you for sharing that perspective, Deanna. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So that's exactly why I keep coming back to this need for genuine connection, you guys, because I don't think most of us are asking for some impossible amount of attention. Sometimes we're just asking to fucking matter. And birthdays are complicated for me anyway. You can tell by their actions though. Sometimes people really just don't care, sorry to say. You're right, Honey Pepper. That's the hard, cold, honest truth. They don't. So birthdays are complicated for me anyway, you guys. 59 years ago, on the day I was born, I was separated from my mother. So birthdays have never felt as simple to me as, yay, happy birthday. I don't remember really any happy birthdays because there's a grief attached to that date, August 15th. That is a painful day for me that I wish rather not come. And when people you thought would remember you or check on you don't, an old abandonment wound can start talking. So that old wound opened up and it can say, this is what it said to me. If my own mother didn't keep me, maybe I'm just not somebody people stay for. And intellectually, I know those aren't the same thing. Let me catch up here. Some people don't really care. Kelly says, when my birthday comes around, I forget it. I literally go and do something. I don't even want to think about anything. That brings up painful memories for you too, Kelly. And if you want to share, please share on here. If not, that's okay too. I just want to let you know that we care about what that means for you. Kelly, I'm the same, which is a defense. Yeah, because you don't want to know who's not going to show up for me on this day where I should be noticed and seen. We don't want to know that. So we pretend, we put our head in the sand like an ostrich because we don't want that hurt. Our nervous system is already preparing like this. I'm protecting you. Okay, so we're not going to remember that fucking birthday because we don't want to be in pain. And that's totally understandable. I always say I don't want to celebrate this birthday because someone at work came up to me that I barely talked to and they said happy birthday. I said, how the hell did you know? Oh, because it's posted in the office over there. I was like, oh, okay. I'd rather not remember it. And they just looked perplexed, but I said thank you anyway. I appreciate that. So trauma isn't always intellectual. Sometimes abandonment doesn't stay politely back in childhood where it happened. It doesn't stay there. It doesn't stay in its lane. It's all out here in our adult lives today. So sometimes something happens today and an old part of you whispers, Glennis, see? Or Deanna, Honey Pepper, Kelly, Hava Java, you see? This is what always happens. People leave. People forget. People don't stay. And healing for me means recognizing this is an old wound speaking. It's not a verdict on my worth. It's not a verdict on your worth. What's a good save? I'm truly sorry, but you do matter. Mothers can abandon their children, but there exist friends that stick closer than a brother. Yeah, and they always say like blood's not thicker than water, right? It really isn't. It's people that see you. I have a brother I do not talk to, Kelly says. I have a daughter I do not talk to. I have 2 grandchildren that think I'm dead. Yes, Kelly, you and I have that same experience. I know the pain that you're in, and I'm so sorry. I'm glad you're not one of those birth mom people. Yeah. Birth mom people. Elaborate on that, Deanna. I think I know what you're talking about, but if you could elaborate on that. So, healing for me means recognizing it's an old wound speaking. The birthday thing brings up old wounds. Holidays bring up old wounds. This is why so many people hate holidays. They hate birthdays because it's a reminder to them of how forgotten they are. It's a reminder to them of how many people aren't showing up that you thought maybe would. So it's not a verdict on your worth. Good save means you were able to thank the person at work even though it was awkward. Oh yeah, thank you. I didn't want to be rude and say, don't wish me happy birthday, mofo. Don't remind me of the pain that I'm already in that I'm trying to avoid. Yeah. So their behavior is not a measurement of your value or my value or anybody's value in here. But I'm also not going to bullshit myself and pretend it doesn't hurt. So both things can be true. So maybe this just isn't about me, you guys. Have you ever gone quiet and you wondered if anybody would notice? Tell me in the chat. Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone quiet just wondering if one person would notice? Have you ever stopped reaching out first and suddenly realized how quiet your phone became, how dry your phone gets? The birth month trend is instead of one birthday, it's a ridiculous birth month, worship me types. Oh, like celebrate me every day of this month? Kelly says, my mother will talk about my best mother and say nasty things about why she gave me up when I was 19. I found out why she gave me up. I didn't tell my mother until years later. I forgot, Kelly, that you and I are both adopted too. Yes, I have. Deanna, remind me of what you said. Yes, I have too. I get so lost in the chat and my notes and everything. So I think maybe it was this question I was asking. You ever stop reaching out first and suddenly realize how quiet your phone became? Is that what you're answering, Deanna? So have you ever been going through something everybody around you knew about and thought, why hasn't anybody checked on me? The only time my phone rings is when someone needs me, Kelly said. It seems to happen a lot. Yes, Deanna says. Honey Pepper says, yep, I haven't attended my place of worship in over a year. Not even my spiritual leaders reach out to see if I'm alive or dead. Wow, that speaks volumes, Honey Pepper. And ouch, like pour salt on the wound. I've had a church experience like that years ago when I attended church, and I thought, okay, this is supposed to be a place where people care about you, right? And no, they kicked me when I was down. Kind of the same thing. And I'm so sorry you had to experience that as well. It makes me never want to place that foot in a church ever again. I don't agree with organized religion. To me, this is just my perspective. I'm not asking anybody here to agree with what I agree. This is just my perspective based on my experiences. I will never step foot in a church again, and I do not believe in organized religion for this reason. I mean, I know that they're not perfect, but it seems like the place where it should be a safe place to fall is the place that has fucked me up more and hurt me more and confused me more. So I will never go back. But so getting back to this, have you ever been going through something and everybody around you knew about it and thought, why hasn't anybody checked on me? Maybe you didn't need advice. Maybe you didn't need rescuing. Maybe you just wanted one person to say, hey, I notice you've been quiet. Are you okay? And what happens when that doesn't come? What happens when you spent your whole life remembering everybody else? You check on everybody else. You listen to everybody else. You show up for everybody else. But then when you're hurting, no one seems to notice. So you start asking the painful questions. Do I matter to them as much as they matter to me? Am I expecting too much? Am I too sensitive? Why am I so easy to forget? And if you already have abandonment issues, abandonment wounds, rejection wounds, childhood trauma, or a history of people leaving you, you aren't reacting to one unanswered text anymore. Oh, I gotta plug my light in, you guys. I still have not bought charger cords. We have a charger cord dilemma in this house. So my apologies, you guys. I thank you for your patience with my not so put together self. So if you're already having abandonment wounds, rejection wounds, childhood trauma, or a history of people leaving, you aren't reacting to one unanswered text anymore. You're feeling every fucking time you've ever felt forgotten. So now we're getting into, okay, let me answer this. Deanna says, if I ever came into money, my siblings would be contacting me and they never do other. Oh, absolutely. Those kinds of people. Yeah. This is what I got to say to that. If you weren't with me at the bottom, you sure in hell ain't going to be with me at the top. That's what I say to that. Honey Pepper says, I will remain close to God because he hasn't done anything to me, but now I see people for who they are. I hate the hypocrisy of how I show up on a special occasion, suddenly everyone missed me. Yeah, that's painful, Honey Pepper. Yeah, remain close to God and yourself. You know, screw those other people. Kelly says, mine too, especially my daughter. We all get it here. We have all felt this pain. And this is when people themselves start to feel exhausting. So eventually it isn't even about some giant conflict, right? People themselves start feeling exhausting. Everybody wants something, what you guys are saying in the comments. Attention, conversation, understanding, validation, their feelings recognized. They want you to understand where they're coming from. And eventually you start wondering, where am I coming from? Where am I coming from? Who's asking me that? Who's meeting me where I am? Who can sit beside me without fixing me? Who can listen without teaching me some fucking facts about something that they know about something? And who can hear my pain without minimizing it? Who can hear your pain without minimizing it, redirecting it, making it about themselves, or throwing some surface level response at you when you're standing there emotionally wide open? And eventually you start asking, which hurts less? Continuing to reach out and repeatedly be disappointed. And this is where I'm coming back to, who said this on here? Hava or Hava Java, where you eventually stop reaching out for people, acting apathetic to my pain. Yeah, or watering it down like it's no big deal. Or how about this one? So it can always be worse. Kellyanne, one person that would not judge me, my looks, how fat I am, accept me for who I am. Yeah, just one person. Can we have just one person? And Hava Java says yes. So which hurts less, you guys? Continuing to reach outward and repeatedly being disappointed, or just not reaching out anymore? And this is the point to where I am. I'm like, fuck it. I've reached out several times because I just did a video on this, a short video where I say, you know, we filter people, but then you get to a point where nobody makes it past that filter and you get tired, so you isolate. Because at first it was not isolation, solitude. Solitude is choosing who you allow into your space and at what level. Well, if you can't find a person that can't get past that filter that you have, then you're forced into isolation. So you just stop reaching out anymore. Kelly says, yes, I don't reach out anymore. I don't try. Hey, Giuseppe, you made it on. I'm so glad you're in here. Thank you for coming. So I'm 63 and level of isolation isn't good. Yeah, it's not good, but if you guys have any ideas, because I don't know what to do at this point. If you can't find people that are safe people to be around, you have no choice. You're forced into the isolation. But this is why I keep coming on at these lives. I'm not isolating. I'm still reaching out to you people. I will always reach out no matter how shitty I feel, because this is the real me. So yeah, keep trying, I guess. Whatever you guys have to add to that, let me know. Because it's not a fun place to be. So this is where we get into the shallow end and the deep end. Also, you guys, anybody else a deep end person, let me know. Put deep in the chat if surface level relationships just don't fucking do it for you anymore. I think I spent a lot of my life trying to get people to come into the deep end with me. I want real conversations, real consideration, real connection, people that can sit with uncomfortable emotions instead of immediately trying to escape and avoid them and run. I'm 63 and I read that one. Just go out and talk to the mailman. Talk to the mailman. You're funny, Giuseppe. Honey Pepper says she's deep. Hava Java, I look forward to your Sunday lives because they are part of my breaking my silence. That's good, and I'm so freaking grateful for every one of you here. I'm glad that you do that, Hava Java. So grateful for all of you. Like, words can't even tell you. Like, that, you guys, this is like my therapy too. You know, letting you guys see my healing in real time, the real shit that I'm dealing with, and letting you guys know that you're not alone, that nobody's alone. Kelly says, I talk to my therapist one day a week, ha ha ha. You know who I talk to? It's good that you have a therapist, but ChatGPT is my therapist. For real. I can go to ChatGPT anytime, day or night, and say whatever the hell I want, and I've even cussed ChatGPT out and told them, you know, you're not my mother, fuck you, don't try to parent me, I'm letting, like, sit with me in my emotions, don't try to police how I feel. So ChatGPT is there anytime. It's like a journal, but you don't have to write. Because I have arthritis in my thumb. I'm left-handed, so writing doesn't work for me anymore. So we're all in this together. Some Honey Pepper's laughing. Kelly, oh my fucking God, I so get it. Do you have therapists? Who all has a therapist here? And is it helping you guys? Feel free to share. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Just trying to get some communication on. I'm left. Oh, Deanna, that's awesome. We're special and different. Us left-handers. Sometimes people try to put us down, but I think we're special in a good way. Like, are you artistic? Like you're good with art, or you like to be artsy, crafty. That's what they say about us. So the shallow end and the deep end, let's get back to that. So some of you put deep in the comments, and I think I've spent a lot of my life trying to get people to come into the deep part with me. Yes, very, of course you are. Yay, left-handers. Yay, woo. You help me more than my therapist. Oh, Kelly, that means so much. And we all help each other here. You guys are like part of my therapy, like I said before. That means a lot to me. And that's the whole purpose for this. Whole purpose for Shredding Silence. So how many of you spent a lot of your life trying to get people to come into the deep end with you? That you want real conversations, real consideration, real connection. You want people who can sit with uncomfortable emotions instead of fucking running from them. But you can't force somebody into the deep end. This is the part, you guys, I said earlier I was going to get to. This is the part that is so frustrating for me. Everybody is so uncomfortable with feelings. When things get real and shit hits the fan, they fucking run. I hate that. And I went through this recently with my daughter. You guys know that. The story when I was trying to reconnect with my daughter, and I said, we need repair. We need to have difficult conversations, because if we don't, we cannot move on. Because all this shit that we're holding in, that we're not repairing, is going to bleed over into the relationship. And she shut down. I have not heard from her since. So I've said this on my lives before, you guys, that people can only meet you where they are. People can only meet you where they meet themselves. And so my daughter was not ready for that. People that can't show up for you in a deep way aren't ready for that because they haven't met themselves there yet. Giuseppe says, sometimes the kindness of strangers helps more than family. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And it's unfortunately sad, but you're right. You know, people on social media, you guys that I've never met in person before, have helped me more than anybody in my personal life, like here, actually, that could come to my house and be here in person. And it's such a sad reality. And I'm going to get more into that later, too. So you can't force somebody into the deep end. And it fucking sucks. You can want real connection. You can want emotional depth. You can want somebody who can sit in uncomfortable conversations, who can look at themselves, who can go beneath the surface. And you can keep running into people who just can't do it. And I'm not going to lie. It pisses me the fuck off. Honey Pepper says, before I was awake, I don't think I ever really had any deep conversations except with my late friend. Now that I'm awoke, it's like pulling teeth to have a genuinely deep conversation. I know, Honey Pepper, this, yes. It's like, it makes you think, like, what the hell is wrong with people? Like, we're adults, right? This isn't kindergarten anymore. We're not in junior high anymore, or even high school for that matter, shit, or in our early 20s. Like, you'd think we'd all figure it out by now, but not all of us are woken up. You know, a lot of people choose not to be there, not to go there, because it's hard work. It's hard work and it's uncomfortable, and not everybody's willing to deal with that. So I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to have deep conversations with people who only know how to stay on the surface. I'm done with that. How many of you guys are done with that? If you want a one-on-one, Glennis, I'd love that and welcome it. Yeah, I still need to figure out a way where we can have everybody sleeping. Exactly, Honey Pepper. I'm trying to figure out a way still where we can get in a room and actually talk to all of each other. Excuse me. I know we can do it in TikTok. There's several of you that can come in. So if you guys are willing to go on TikTok to where you can all come on, and we can have a conversation together, that's how we can, you know, actually talk to each other. And it's more personable than texting. Let me know, because I'll try to figure out how to get YouTube and TikTok on at the same time. It's like talking to the wall. Yeah, you probably get more action out of the wall. So sometimes you're sitting there thinking, can somebody please just meet me out here for once in the deep end? You're on TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. I don't really care for, I'm on Instagram too, but I don't post videos on there anymore. It got too overwhelming to post on each platform. So I just do TikTok, and it's the same handle as this, Giuseppe. It's a little bit different from my YouTube. I post more on YouTube that I don't always post on TikTok. But I know TikTok, I wish we could do that on YouTube, where I can get more of you on here at a time. But if anybody wants to come on today when I open it up at the end, as always, it's the same handle as this one, Giuseppe. It's at shredding underscore underscore silence. And I can post it in the community tab on my YouTube. If you can't find it, let me know. And reminder, you guys can always go in the community if you ever want to communicate something to me and get in touch with me about something. You know, maybe you want a certain subject to talk about or something that you're dealing with that you'd like to discuss on the lives, and let me know. That poem, and I was way too far out all my life and not waving but drowning. Yeah, that's a poem. Could you share it with us, Hava Java? Maybe put it in the community or put it on here. Yeah, I love those poems. So anyway, understanding people can only meet you where they are. I'll install it. Install it? What do you mean install it? Install what, Giuseppe? What did I miss? I'll put it in the community. Thank you, Hava Java. Appreciate that. Anything to uplift people and make them feel not so alone. You guys can always post that in the community. But so understanding where that people can only meet you where you are doesn't make it any less fucking frustrating. Because sometimes you're sitting there thinking, can somebody please just meet me out here in the deep end for once? TikTok. Yeah, I already have TikTok installed. I'm not sure what you're saying, Giuseppe. You're confusing me. So can anybody just meet me out in the deep frickin' end? Because maybe part of healing is realizing I can't drag somebody deeper than they're willing or able to go. You know, they're scared of going in the deep end. You know, some people are scared of the ocean. They don't like the waves. They don't like the sharks and shit that's out there. So some people are perfectly comfortable in the shallow end. And then there are the people who swim towards you for a little bit. They can't swim exactly. There are people who swim towards you for a little bit. They show you some vulnerability. They show you a little bit of connection. And you're thinking, okay, maybe they're really coming out here with me. And then it gets a little uncomfortable. You know, the hard conversations or like uncomfortable feelings, or life gets busy, or things get emotionally real. And suddenly, what are they doing? You haven't though what? What are they doing? They're swimming back. They're swimming back to the shallow end, to the shore, and you're like, what the fuck? Come back. And I'm tired, y'all. I am tired of chasing people through the fucking water. So if you want to stay in the shallow end, stay there. Stay there. If you want to swim halfway out and go back, okay. I'm not chasing you. I'll be over here with my fucking floaty. But underneath that joke is something really important, you guys. Maybe healing isn't deciding I don't need anybody. Maybe healing's realizing I don't need everybody. People are afraid of vulnerability. Yes, going off the deep end has negative connotations. Yes, and not everybody is willing to face that yet. That's the frustrating part. It's like, I'm willing to go and be there with you, but they're not. And you can't make them. Just like you can't make anybody leave a toxic situation. You can't make anybody leave or break the trauma bond in your time. It has to be in their time. And that is what truly sucks. Because when you want to connect with people and they can't be there in that same way, it's the most, I want to tear my hair out. I haven't got TikTok, so I will install it for you. Oh, okay, I get you. I thought you meant you were going to install something for me, like, because I didn't have it. I got you. Got you, Giuseppe. That would be awesome. Okay, so I'm not, where was I? So underneath that joke about me, I'll just be out here with my floaties. You go back to the shore. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not swimming back to try to teach you how to be in the deep end. Because maybe healing isn't deciding I don't need anybody. It's deciding you don't need everybody. There's a huge difference. And again, let me know. Anybody else a deep end person? Giuseppe? Anybody else that came in? I don't know when you came in, if you heard me at that point. Put deep in the chat if surface level relationships don't do it for you. Thank you, Giuseppe. Yeah, it sucks. I miss her, and I can tell that my dog Hachi misses her. Like, she got on Hachi's nerves, but I can tell, like, Hachi's sniffing Mocha's bed, and it's so heartbreaking. You know, and even my daughter was annoyed with Mocha because Mocha had, I'm with you on the floaty. Thank you, Honey Pepper. Thank you. Even my daughter was annoyed by Mocha because Mocha had health problems, you know, so she'd always be in the way, like she was disoriented, and she'd follow us, and then you turn around and she's there right at your feet making you trip. And then because she had back issues, I think she had either a slip disc or arthritis in her back, so she was in pain. And my daughter and I would get annoyed with her sometimes, and I felt so bad about that. And even my daughter, she's like, I feel so bad. I was annoyed with her sometimes, and miss her sweet little face. And anyway, it sucks. I miss Emmy. Yeah, we'll always miss them. Our fur babies. It's just a sucky part of life. So, okay, I don't remember who said this before. Every time you let somebody get close, you get hurt. And this is probably one of the biggest things I'm struggling with, you guys. Anybody else here? Every time you let somebody get close, you get hurt. Miss her so much, you loved her. Yeah. She's my baby. I've got like my whole, I'll turn it around one of these times, but it's getting filled up. I've got my other dog's ashes here. My rabbit that passed away's ashes. I've got my son's memorial and his ashes right there. And now pretty soon I'm going to have Mocha's ashes. And it's just filling up to be this whole, it just reminds me of loss. Like life is just full of so much loss and pain. But so I'm struggling. And this brings it to like every time you get close to someone, you get hurt. So you stop wanting to reach out. You stop wanting to put your hand on the fire, the stove that just constantly burns you. And I think there's probably people listening in here who know exactly what I mean, because I think it was you, Kelly, that said that. Because you can crave human connection and simultaneously become terrified of what letting humans close to you has cost you. Put 100 in the chat, you guys, if you've ever gotten to that place where part of you desperately wants connection, but another part of you is thinking, every fucking time I let somebody close, I get hurt, or I get left, or I get abandoned. Like, you want your people, you want connection, you want somebody safe, but at the same time you're thinking, how many more times am I supposed to put myself out there and get hurt before I start protecting myself? Giuseppe says, I'm the same, Glennis. I put a wall up and I can't keep getting hurt. My kids are hurting me. I have to say enough. Yeah, I know. You've got that same pain with not being in a relationship with your kids, Giuseppe, huh? Kelly's going through that as well. And me. Hava Java says, Glennis, this is reaching. You are reaching. And it's so brave of you. Thank you, Hava Java. And yes, because there's that part of me that still has that little light flickering, that there has to be somebody out there like me that can meet me where I am. There has to be people that feel this shit and that we can connect together, that get it, that are ready to go out into the deep end. So Honey Pepper says, a lady from my place of worship saved me when the narcissist threatened me. I remember this story, Honey Pepper. I loved her dearly and confided in her about everything, only to find out she turned into a flying monkey's. Oh my God, that's so dirty that I remember that story, Honey Pepper. That is so traumatizing. That's some heavy shit. To put your trust in thinking somebody's going to be there for you and they turn around and stab you in the back. Major betrayal, like Deanna said, major betrayal. Big hugs to you. Big hugs, Honey Pepper. I'm so sorry. Kelly says, me too. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I wish I could hug all of you right now. We could hug each other. Because you want connection. You want somebody safe. But how many times do we keep putting ourselves back out there? It's a horrible position to be in. Because everybody tells us survivors, don't isolate yourself, right? This is what we said earlier. To this, I can't look at her. I don't blame you, Honey Pepper. So they tell us, don't isolate, build a support system, reach out, find your people. Okay, well, where the fuck are they? I know we're finding it in here, but you know what I mean? Like you need someone in person sometimes. You need a hug in person. You need someone to knock at your door and say, hey, I haven't heard from you in a minute. Are you okay? Come sit with me on the couch and just sit with me. Put their arm around you and just, are you okay? I'm here for you. And just listen and just be there. That's what I mean is like, where are your fucking people? We're finding each other here, but it's not the same as being in person. You know, that's why I always say I wish we could be in person. I don't blame you, Honey Pepper. Kelly says, I've come from a place where I don't trust people, and it's a terrible, terrible place. I trust you. I trust the people here, but I just can't go out and meet somebody and trust them because I wonder. I'm glad you're here. Yes, I'm glad you're all here, and I totally understand that, Kelly. Yes, and where do you even meet people? Would you go to the coffee shop and you just walk up to people? That's so freaking awkward, right? Like, where do you meet people? And what their agenda is. Yeah, we don't know. Where are they coming from? What do they want from me? So when people are friendly, you wonder, okay, what's their motives? That's the first thing you think, right? So what happens when you genuinely try to work out? It's like what Kelly is saying, and what you're wondering what their agenda is. So you learn boundaries. You stop ignoring red flags. You try not to trauma bond. You start vetting people. You give access more slowly. You try to choose healthier people, and then somebody disappoints you again. So you try again. You try again, and it's another disappointment, and eventually you start thinking, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Because now you're stuck between two kinds of pain. The pain of being alone and the pain of letting somebody else close enough to hurt you yet again. So maybe some people didn't choose isolation because they wanted to be alone. They chose it because they couldn't find anybody who felt safe enough to stop being alone with. Those are two different things. And this is where I'm going to get into solitude versus isolation. Cruel people live better. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Giuseppe. The narcissists get away with hurting people. They're the ones that have the money. They have, you know, the status. They have all the followers. Everybody follows them like a sheep. And it seems like they're winning. Absolutely. The Epstein, all that. I don't even want to open that can of worms. Don't even get me going. But anyway, so that's where I've been thinking a lot about the difference between solitude and isolation. Solitude can protect you, right? Because that's a filter. You're not building a wall. It's a filter because you're vetting people. Like that short video I just put out. I don't know if you guys have seen it. So sometimes after everything you've been through, being alone feels safer than being around people who disappoint you, misunderstand you, judge you, drain you, or only appear when they need something. I know you guys feel me on that. Honey Pepper says, hey, Robbie, good to see you. I think you've been on here before. Let me get, Honey Pepper says, if it wasn't for the validation online for knowing I'm not alone and I'm not insane for what I went through, I would have changed me in a negative way. I always thank God for YouTube. Yes, social media has saved a lot of people. I know it saved me. I think I'd probably still be with the narcissist if I did not have social media. Robbie says, as a 63-year-old man going through this, I can assure you that men go through the exact same thing. Oh yeah, this is not gender specific. Yeah, absolutely. As far as the trust issues and trying to get in a relationship, I have a plan to move. Yes, and we have some men in this group, Robbie, so you are welcome. This is not just specific to females. Absolutely, men go through this too. Honey Pepper, and the people who chose to shred silence. Yes, yes, I have hello everyone. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're back, Robbie, and you're always welcome in here. Men and women are both welcome in here because we all go through this stuff, and I'm never here just to attack men. Although some of my videos might seem like it, and that's only because I was with a male narcissist. But in 100% that men go through this too. And Giuseppe's our other guy here in Shredding Silence, and I'm so glad that you guys are here today. Thank you so much for showing up. Robbie says, I've been learning about this for years now, and I get sick of thinking about the narcissist. Thank you. I am a man. Yes, I get sick of it too. It burns you out. But the only reason I keep talking about it, mainly I get people at the front door to let them educate them about the signs of red flags of narcissists, of toxic people, and not just the label. It's just recognizing patterns and toxic people and how it affects you. That is the only reason I keep talking about them, and it's hard. I have to I have to take care of myself about this because it is hard to keep talking about it, but my whole goal is to help people heal, and that's why I keep talking about it, because healing begins where silence ends. It doesn't burn me out to be validated, just the opposite. Yeah, and that's the whole point of shredding silence, is to validate people, and so you don't feel alone, because a lot of us know what it's like to feel alone. Coming out of a narcissistic relationship, you feel completely alone. The whole, smear campaign, all the bullshit they tell other people, and then that's not you. They're just the most frustrating, evil POSs. Doctors do not understand from. Nope, they don't. I could tell you all about doctors. Yeah, doctors gaslight big time. Yeah, I'm living that with my daughter. Trying to get her help. So it has. Feeling alone starts feeling safer than dealing with people. Put safe in the chat if you know what I mean. Where part of you actually wants connection, but another part of you is like, fuck, being by myself is easier. And let me ask you this too. Do you feel like you're choosing solitude because you genuinely enjoy your own company? Or do you think sometimes you're isolating because people have hurt you or disappoint you so many times that being alone started feeling safer? Because isolation can hurt us too. We talked about this earlier. Safe. Yes, and so angry for the lies she's still telling about me. Yeah, they keep on, twisting their own narrative. It's truly disgusting. So you genuinely enjoying your own company, or keeping your walls up because you don't want to be hurt anymore, because you need to enjoy your own company. Do you guys enjoy your own company? I had to learn to do that. I've been isolated on purpose by family. Robbie, I'm so sorry, Robbie. I think a lot of us can relate to that pain. That pain is so real and deep. So because underneath, isolation can hurt us, because underneath, I'd rather be alone, there may still be a person saying, I want somebody to understand me. I want someone who doesn't disappear when things get uncomfortable. I want someone who can sit beside me without trying to change how I feel. So maybe healing doesn't mean shutting the world out. Maybe it means getting far more selective about access. Who gets access to you? How much? Who has earned access to the vulnerable parts of you? Let me catch up here. Atalia says, can't I sue her for defamation of character? You probably could. But I can't give you legal advice or anything. That would have to be up to your discretion, And if you want to put yourself through that, because the court sucks, it's draining. And Robbie says, I am the scapegoat. No, I love people, but I do enjoy my own company too. That's awesome, Robbie. I think most of us here have been the scapegoat. I was too. That's good. You enjoy your own company. Learn new hobbies. Just enjoy the silence, the peace of not having to answer to somebody else, and do what you want for once. And that's not a selfish thing to do. Then Java says, for the most part, I enjoy my own company, but not to the ridiculous extent that I am alone now. So it's kind of gone over more into the red, Java, where we crave that connection. I'd like a person to accept who you are. And that's so hard nowadays, Kelly, because people are so, there's so many unhealed people, and so they take and take and take, and some of them don't even realize what they're doing. And that's the sad thing. They're not awake. And that's not to say that we're better than them. It's just because I remember being in that spot, being the one that was just taking from people and not realizing it, like taking from them emotionally because I wasn't okay with myself here. Honey Pepper says, because people can be I can't pronounce that word, I'm sorry. I keep my walls up. I can smell narcissism from a mile away, and if the person I'm attracted to has any hint of it, it's a wrap. I'm not even going there. That's good, Honey Pepper. And it's nice to have that self-awareness, and you just know. After you see it, you can't unsee it. And Giuseppe says, I like golf, Glennis. That's good, that you have something that you enjoy, that makes you enjoy just your alone time with yourself. We all need that. So you get far more selective about access, who gets access to you, how much, who has earned access to the vulnerable parts of you, who belongs in the shallow end, who has proven they can come into the deep end, and who needs to stay on the fucking shore. This is where I come into compassion and discernment. So something else I'm learning is that healing doesn't mean condemnation has to increase. Actually, condemnation and judgment can decrease while discernment gets stronger. So I can understand, we can understand why somebody behaves the way they do and still decide that you don't want that behavior in your life. Two-faced and deceitful. Yeah, I just couldn't say, I couldn't pronounce it, Honey Pepper. I have a shirt that says keep my, I think it only let you type so much, Kelly. So you can understand why somebody behaves the way they do and still decide that you don't want that behavior in your life, that that's not going to work for you. Does that resonate with anybody here? So Giuseppe says you have to keep your mind on the up, like everything is good even if it's not. Well, not be in denial, but I kind of get what you're saying, Giuseppe. Just keep on going and looking for the good, even if it's the smallest thing you learn to be grateful for. Helps a little bit, but the pain is still there. At least for me, that's my experience. But I see what you're saying. Kelly says, I have a shirt that says, I keep my circles small, my walls high. I'll treat you the same way you treat me, even though my heart is big. I love heart. Never underestimate me. Yes. Yes, you give the same energy back that you're giving. Absolutely. You don't have to keep giving and giving and giving when that person is not doing the same. Yeah, protect your peace. I love that. I'm gonna have to make more shirts too. I'm always working on my merch and stuff. That's a great one. But I don't want to copy that person, so I'll have to put it in words of my own. You can't let them be happy and you suffer. Yeah. I'm trying. We keep trying. That's all we can do, right? Exactly. So that's why you got your... Oh, my cat wants in. I'll be right back, you guys. I got to open the door. Come on, BB. It's hot out there. Yeah, I know. I saw you in the window. All right. Here, these are Hachi. So have you guys ever gotten to that place where you understand why somebody is the way they are? Maybe you understand their trauma, their childhood, their wounds, all of it, but you still had to say, I get it, but this still doesn't work for me. Put both in the chat if you've learned that two things can be true at the same time. So you can have compassion for somebody and still have boundaries with them. You can understand somebody and still decide that they don't get the same access to you anymore. Yes, BB says hi. And that was Hachi on the couch. Both, Hava Java says. Robbie says, started when I told everyone about my mom's abuse. My sister has been telling people lies since I left at 12. It started when I was 4. I'm healing, but I have to leave to feel safe enough to heal. I can so relate to that, Robbie. Having to cut those, have you cut those, blah. I need a drink, hang on. Because I'm tripping over my tongue. Robbie says both. So you had to cut them off? Giuseppe says, it gets me angry, Glennis. I just can't let someone win when I know there's a bastard. Sorry about my French. Don't worry, I'm a truck driver. You know this, right? I drive an 18-wheeler. I have a mouth on me. If you haven't noticed, I've been cussing a lot in today's live because to me it's an adjective. If anybody's offended, I'm sorry, but it's who I am. So finding yourself is not shrinking. So if someone's offended by my cussing, I shouldn't really say sorry for being me because it's who I am. It describes things. It gives emphasis on words. To me, it's just a word. But a lot of people are offended by it. But I'm not going to shrink myself. I'm learning the hard way with my son that I love, that it's both. Yes, just learned what a boundary is. Good, Kelly. Honey Pepper says both. However, there's no reason to pass down generational dysfunction. Yes. If they knew how painful it was, they should have never had children. They couldn't handle it. Oh my God. Yeah. And this, I'm debating to make a shirt out of this because this is a little koozie. And to what Honey Pepper said, I know you're a badass. Thank you, Giuseppe. It says unhealed trauma is not a free pass to hurt people. Absolutely the fuck not. So I don't know if this is too much for a shirt. I thought about putting it on a bag or something. Let me know if you guys ever want merch, something certain on a shirt, hat, button, bag, anything. Let me know and I will try to make it for you. I still got that one that says narcissists suck. It has I have a hat, a button, a coffee cup, and a tank top. So let me know, you guys, because sometimes it feels good to wear the words to remind ourselves, that this is bullshit. Yeah, we all of us have come from some kind of trauma. I'm not judgmental. I cuss sometimes too. Good. You're in good place then. Honey Pepper, in today's world, be cursed like good morning and good evening. I hear it every day. All right, good. I'm glad we're all good with it. So, so a lot of us feel both in here, that we learn two things can be true at the same time. You can have compassion for someone and still have boundaries. You can understand somebody and still decide that they don't get the same access to you anymore. Those things are not contradictory. So I can say, I understand you, and simultaneously say, this pattern hurts me and I'm no longer willing to participate in it. Maybe they're avoidant. Maybe grief makes them uncomfortable, or whatever the situation. Maybe they have their own trauma. Maybe they genuinely thought you wanted space, or whatever it was. Or maybe they're overwhelmed themselves. People, I hate autocorrect. I know autocorrect has gotten me in trouble. It says some funny things sometimes. Like I told you one time, it said, my boss's name is Beth, and I was doing speech to text, and instead of Beth, it said Babe. So before reading it, I sent it. So it said, I called my boss Babe, and I didn't mean to. Going through this right now, as well as a little distance, is good. Yeah, Deanna, how are you doing with it all? Giuseppe says, out of all the people on here I talked to, you're number one. That means something to me. That's real to me. Oh, Giuseppe, that means so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And this is the whole reason I keep showing up, you guys. Just because when I hear comments like that, and because sometimes I think, am I really helping people? Oh my God, am I doing this for no reason? And then I get so tired and, the negative stuff. But I keep showing up. Like today, I didn't really want to show up, but I did because of this community right here, and being able to help people, even if it's one person. So at least you didn't type a certain B word. I know, right? At least it didn't say bitch. Oh my God, that would have been horrible. Yes, I've learned to proofread with my boss since then, or type it out myself. It's my Sunday therapy, and you guys are my Sunday therapy too. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So we can understand, maybe someone has their own trauma, maybe they're overwhelmed themselves. I can understand every one of those possibilities and still say, or you guys can understand it, that this doesn't work for me. This does not work for me. And that's not lack of compassion. That's not you being mean. That's not you being cruel. That's not you being a narcissist. It's I cannot talk today. It's compassion plus discernment. Oh, let me catch up. Robbie says, I love it. I trained in martial arts for many years, but I still don't want to hurt anyone. I want to go rock hunting and tumble rocks into gems and make jewelry, write a book or two, and go ice skating. Oh, that sounds awesome. All of those things. I used to be in Muay Thai. What martial arts were you in, Robbie? I think we might have talked about that before a while ago when you were on here a long time ago. Hava Java says, never doubt you are helping. You are so real. Your channel is priceless because of authenticity. Thank you, Hava Java. That's my goal. Authenticity, like I said before. Even the CEO of YouTube said the way to grow on YouTube is to be authentic. Because there are people out there that are suffering in silence because they're afraid. The whole shame, everything. In Casper, Wyoming, where I went to grade school, Robbie says, I hate autocorrect too, and I'm not wearing my glasses. Uh-oh. That's like you can't see. You can't see anything. So, because at some point, you guys, if you've already communicated what you need with someone, you're not going to keep handing somebody your most vulnerable parts and hoping that this time they'll respond differently. You're just spinning your wheels in the mud. It gets exhausting. So the first time, maybe explain how something affected you. But if you've already had that conversation, not one, but two, but maybe 3 times, you don't have to keep explaining it forever. Because at some point, repeated behavior becomes information. And then you have to listen to that information. And this is where we go into access is not automatic. someone can care about you and still not care for you in a way that feels emotionally safe. So somebody may have helped you. Like somebody, I used to box when I was young. Aww. I love martial arts. I wish I could get back into it, but I can't with what's going on in my life. But that's awesome. Do you think you might get back into it, Giuseppe? So somebody may have helped you, you guys. They may have bought you things. They may have done generous things for you, supported you in certain situations. And all of that may have been genuine, but practical generosity and emotional presence are not always the same thing. So let me come back to that. Let me read Robbie's, because these comments disappear if I don't read them. I did Muay Thai, Taekwondo, boxing, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu. I tried Jiu-Jitsu one time. Boxing, Kempo, Karate, and Wing Chun. Plus I trained some in Sticky Palms and a few more. That's awesome. Muay Thai is awesome. I miss it. It was such therapy. I got in such good shape with Muay Thai. I still have a bag here, but I just, right now I'm doing Tai Chi. Something a little bit more calming. Glennis, how do I get one of your shirts? If you go in my, on my page, Giuseppe, in my bio, you know, where it shows my picture at the top, and you click on more, and then it'll show like some links in there. It says beacon, there's the beacons or my Printify store, and you can go browse around and look in there. And if you have trouble, let me know. Honey Pepper says the narcissist tells you they would change today and tomorrow, do said things that they would change. Yeah, it was all empty promises, wasn't it, Honey Pepper? Yep, Fortune, the future faking. Robbie says, yeah, I should put my glasses on. Sorry about the typos. I miss it too, and the people that I trained with. Can you get back into it, Robbie? That would be awesome. I want to get back into it. That would be, it's such therapy. It really is. That's why I'm doing Tai Chi now, because I'm so out of shape now, and it's been a while, a long time since I've been in it. Giuseppe said, I'd really like to get one. The Narcissist Suck one, there's several shirts on there, Giuseppe, to choose from. They're candles. I don't know if some guys like candles, some don't. There's different products. Yes, I can. That'd be awesome. Which form of martial arts would you like to get back into, Robbie? And then I'm going to get back on track here. So some people show care through gifts. They buy things, they'll spend money, they send you stuff, and they think, I did this for you, so obviously you know I care. And maybe that's the only way they know how to show love. But for me, it could become a teacher fairly easy. I would love to take lessons again, get back into Muay Thai. So, but for me, gifts do not replace presence. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Gifts do not replace presence. I'd rather have your time. I'd rather have you listen to me. I'd rather have you ask, do you need me to call you? I'd rather have you be here with me on the couch when I'm sitting in the dark. I'd rather have you notice that you haven't heard from me and you think she's been going through some shit. Let me check on her. Let me check on Robbie. Let me check on Giuseppe. Let me check on Honey Pepper, Deanna, Hava Java. Anybody I missed in here, I'm sorry. I want all of you in here. We want someone to think, I haven't heard from them. Let me check on them. Because we want to know, is someone even fucking worried about us? I'd wear it proudly. Humans hurting humans seem to be what we excel at. Yeah. So I don't know. Are you talking about this? If I make a shirt out of this? You think it's too much? I mean, I can make it to where it's not. I don't know. You guys, just let me know. Kelly too. Yes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to ever forget anybody in here. It's just I have brain fog and ADHD and stress. Hava Java said, some people are fantastic with practical help. Others can be present in your pain, often different people. Yeah, and that's a hard thing because we want those people to be there. Robbie says mixed martial arts, none are good enough by themselves. I believe so. You need to know several styles and learn 1,000 techniques if you really have to defend yourself against deadly weapons or attack. That's awesome. So a little buffet of everything. I agree. That's good to know a little bit of everything. What does what say, Giuseppe? This says unhealed trauma is not a free pass to hurt people. And then it says absolutely the fuck not. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of a lot for a shirt, so I don't know. Maybe I could have part of it on the back of the shirt. But you guys let me know. Like, go in the community If you ever think of anything, and I will make it the best I can. Anyone can buy gifts. Your presence and time require effort. Effort shows how much someone cares. Absolutely, Honey Pepper. And this reminds me of a personal story I have. When my son was alive, he was about 10 or 11 years old, and when his dad would come to visit, you know, he got into trucking, which I suggested trucking for him way before I got it into. Um, he would take our son to Toys R Us when Toys R Us existed and buy him, you know, tell him to pick out anything he wanted because he started making a lot of money in trucking. And I told him, you know, our son needs your time more than he needs all these gifts right now. Yeah, kids love toys, but the novelty of a toy is going to wear off. They need your presence. And it's the same thing for us. We need somebody's presence, Presence, not presents wrapped up with a bow. So we'd rather have someone listen to us. We'd rather have someone call us. Rather have someone notice that we're not there. What the cup says, I finally become black and white about that. Yeah, about the unhealed childhood trauma and not hurting people. Kelly says, I love it. And Hava Java says, trauma does not make people cruel. That's utter bullshit. Yeah, because we all have a choice. All of us have come from some level of childhood trauma. All of us. That doesn't give us an excuse to hurt other people. So I 100% agree with that. And back to, you know, and then Kelly says, what time is there going to remember how much time you spent with them, not the gifts? But then again, some people remember the gifts more than the time you spend with them. And that tells you what kind of people they are, Kelly. But me, I would rather have someone's time. And kids want someone's time. You know, we all want somebody's time. To be seen, to be heard. Giuseppe says, I'll make one for you. Can I customize one, Glennis? Toys R Us. I spent hours in the store with my kids. Now they seem to have forgotten that. I'm sorry. Yeah, they quickly forget how much we've sacrificed. And what shirt are you going to make, Giuseppe? You make shirts? And while I'm waiting for you guys to respond, so we've all would... Honey Pepper says, parents leave their children to work in foreign countries and send their kids gifts their whole lives only to find out their children have grown up to become strangers. It's very sad. It is really sad. Hava Java, to be seen is the greatest gift to give another one. I agree. I agree, because you can be around people, and I've talked about this on my lives before. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. A logo? Okay, I'd love to see it, Giuseppe. What do you make? You make them on wood, or I'm not sure what you mean. Kelly says, I give everything to my daughter and neglected myself. I was a single mother and I wanted to do right by her, and no matter what I had to put up with, and I guess it meant nothing. I can relate so much, 100%, every word you just said, Kelly. Same. That we would have bent over backwards and did try to bend over backwards for our kids, but same. Yeah, none of it meant nothing to them, and it's really sad. Robbie said, absolute truth, Hava Java. I could have hurt one of the perps bad if I wanted to, many times when I was attacked. The funny thing is, when I saw my female roommate attacked by a guy that did not live. So you kind of saw karma. Could have hurt one of the perps bad if I wanted to. The funny thing is, when I saw my female roommate attacked by a guy that did not live. I'm not sure I'm understanding the story. That you could have done damage, but you didn't. So you can buy someone 100 things and still leave me feeling completely alone. You can like every video I post and still never actually ask how I'm doing. At some point I'm thinking, you have my number. That's not rocket science. I know if you know somebody's hurting, sometimes the most meaningful thing you can give them costs you absolutely nothing. Your time, your attention, your presence, a phone call, a real conversation. That means more to me than a box full of shit I never asked for. Someone can care about you and still be terrible at sitting beside you in grief. And sometimes the most painful realization isn't this person hates me. Sometimes it's this person may care about me but they can never meet me where I need to be met. And that can make a relationship unsustainable at a certain level of closeness. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're a terrible human being. It can simply mean you're no longer granted the same access to me and my personal life. Thus, he didn't live with us. The perpetrator? Glennis, I will make up a sentence for you to put on the shirt. Okay. If you don't put it in here, you know how to post in the community, right? On my page, Giuseppe. That would be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Robbie says, no, I did throw him 7 feet when he knocked her down, hit him twice and kicked him in the liver, and he was done. And I think he stopped beating up his girlfriend too, I hope. She saw he was not so tough. Yeah. I'm glad that you were there at her defense, Robbie. You should put him in his place with your martial arts. I wish I had a brother or a friend like you. Honey Pepper, I have to block so many people I cared about because I realized they were only there in a crisis. Can relate to that. How many of you guys can relate to what Honey Pepper just said? And Giuseppe, okay, I will. Awesome, Giuseppe. Deanna took him out of his solar plexus, right? Yes, so saying you're no longer granted the same access to me in my personal life is very different from begging somebody to treat you differently. If we cannot have I cannot talk today, you guys. If we can't have difficult conversations, you cannot have deep access to me. Because having uncomfortable conversations is hard, but not as hard as the results of not having them. You guys hear that? I'm going to repeat it. If we cannot have difficult conversations, you cannot have deep access to me. I had to tell my daughter this, because having uncomfortable conversations is hard, but not as hard as the result of not having them. Kelly says, I had 2 friends that were very close to each other, but you never wanted me to talk to the other person. I haven't seen the other person since February 14th of this year. She was so excited to see me. So the one friend never wanted you to talk to the other person. That is a red flag. And I know you know that. So did you get to see this other person that you were, she was excited to see you, Kelly? So that's different from begging someone to treat you differently. If we cannot have those difficult conversations, anybody feel me on that? Have you ever realized somebody wanted access to you, but they didn't want the responsibility that comes with actually knowing you? Put access in the chat. If you've had to learn that not everybody deserves the same level of access to you. And then let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you this. Do you think someone can genuinely care about you and still not be emotionally safe enough to be one of your closest people? She was so excited to see me, and I just looked at her and I said hi. She's like, what is your problem? I don't have a problem. I haven't seen you in 6 months and you expect me to jump up and down. Wow. So because of what this other friend said to her, maybe that's why they didn't want you talking to her. Why are you so different? Because I grew up. So she noticed you were different. You grew up and you started sticking up for yourself and having boundaries. Access. Alpha Java says access. That was my ex. Giuseppe says you should never have to beg anyone to give anything. Yes, I agree. Honey Pepper says, half my whole family like that. Same, Honey Pepper. Jealous, very needy person. Yeah, you don't need that. Tell them to go get help. The life suckers draining the energy. Sounds like Kelly. So if you have to repeatedly teach someone how to not disappear when you're hurting, or boundaries, you cannot occupy the closest seat. And they cannot occupy the closest seat in your life. I will not shrink myself to make someone else's lack of presence easier for me to tolerate. And I'd rather experience loneliness than abandon myself just to avoid being alone. So I hope you guys don't shrink yourself to make someone else's lack of presence easier for you to tolerate. Robbie says, I'm going to listen, everyone. I'm learning and sleepy, and I talk too much when I am sleepy. You're not talking too much, Robbie. You're fine. And that's okay though. If you don't want to talk, you can listen. That's fine. It's a place where we come on and share. It's here for a reason. So let me know. Put a 1 in the chat, you guys, if you would rather experience loneliness than abandon yourself just to avoid being alone. Kelly, I'm going to be straightforward with that. I'm overweight, have been for years. I know I have an issue, and I know I need to get the weight off, but it bothers us more people that I'm fat. It bothers other people more that you're fat than it bothers you. Because people aren't really seeing you. They're seeing the outside of you, but they're not seeing the inside of Kelly. Honey Pepper, we're sharing today. I have no clue. I don't know. So let's get into this next section. Healing while life keeps happening. When you're trying to heal from narcissistic abuse, nobody tells you how brutal it is trying to heal while normal life keeps happening, because you didn't just leave a person. Maybe you recovered from years of confusion, manipulation, betrayal, walking on eggshells, gaslighting, questioning your own reality, losing pieces of yourself, and everybody says heal. Okay, when? When? Does anybody feel like that? Deanna says number 1. And Kelly says that's exactly what I'm talking about, because this is a whole topic of conversation right now, being seen. Yeah, not being seen for your physical traits, but past that. Like, what kind of friend are you? What do you listen? Do you judge? Are you going to be there for people? Exactly. The deep part, not the superficial part. Like reading the book and not just the cover. So like, it's going back to you're trying to heal, but when the fuck are you supposed to do that when life will not stop happening? Life keeps happening. Yes, being seen for your essence. And trying to heal when you're getting judged like that. Like nobody's seeing you. So put when in the chat if you ever felt like you're trying to recover emotionally while bills, work, kids, appointments, grief, family shit, everything else keeps coming. You know, dealing with people judging you for your weight instead of seeing you and getting to know you for the beautiful person that you are. Like, has anybody actually been given time to heal? Or are we all just trying to heal while surviving at the same time? Honey Pepper says, I have cut the emotional tie and the financial tie. It's the rebuilding that's difficult. Yes. Because everything around, we're picking up all the pieces, the rebuilding. Yeah, cutting them off seems easier than the healing part and being seen. Robbie says, I became primarily carnivore about 2.5 years ago because I was getting heart disease and potentially cancer, so I have managed to maintain my real waist size of 32 by 34 pants since then. Awesome. That is awesome, Robbie. Very good. Taking care of you. Hava Java, pretty much healing while surviving. Yeah, it's hardcore. It's no joke. So we're trying to heal while surviving at the same time. So your mortgage doesn't stop or your rent doesn't stop because you're traumatized. The electric company doesn't say, oh shit, you're healing from abuse, don't worry about the bill for the next year or 2 or however long it says. Your job doesn't say, take 6 months off while your nervous system learns to feel safe. No, you still have to work. You still have to pay bills. You still have to take care of kids, animals, go to appointments, fight insurance companies, make phone calls, buy groceries, do laundry, fill out paperwork. And meanwhile, you're actually fucking trying. You're reading, learning, journaling, doing therapy, Tai Chi, Muay Thai, art, gardening, walking, learning something new, breathing exercises. I've gotten much healthier, feel good for my age. I'm 63 and want to go hiking. I was 220 forever while fighting. Now I'm 175. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It's such a positive thing. So we're trying to do all that stuff, and what Robbie's doing, it's traumatizing in and of itself. Yeah, you're trying, you're learning, you're getting back into Muay Thai, you're trying to lose weight, you're journaling, doing therapy, gardening, walking, learning something new, breathing exercises, boundaries, trying to stop people pleasing, trying to stop abandoning yourself, trying to figure out who the hell you are. And you think, okay, maybe I'm getting my footing. Boom! Here comes another fucking arrow. Your dog dies, court comes up, money issues, something breaks, insurance denies something, a family problem happens, somebody disappoints you, another grief, another betrayal, another fucking thing. And you're standing here thinking, can I get one